Zlurpcast!
Look at this, $5 footlongs, 5 morons on your screen right now. We've got Mike Valdric in his cactus sack flannel. We've got Xtreme in his one of his many Cody Rhodes shirts. Biran is wearing a skull cap. Was that like a, I'm going to guess, is that a roller derby team?
No, it's a logo that is unaffiliated with anything for the Giant Head hat store I found online.
Oh yeah, you have you have to get shirts. Like if you have to dress up, you need like an 18 neck, right?
19.
19. Oh, that's disgusting.
But I'm an eight and a quarter head size.
You got 8 1/4 head size because no hair.
Yeah.
But you got a 19 neck. You got a size 2 dick.
We're pushing in the fat mountain, yes.
Yeah, push it down. I'm Jonny P, the main guy here. We've got a special guest, Bobby Kranson. I've known this gentleman for a long time. He is the the reason why I like certain comics and certain games came from Bobby. He's to blame for me spending, I don't want to do the math, but if you add up how much I've spent on items of nerdery since 1996 or 95, probably, it's on him. Like, that's not on me. The reason why I can't live in a nice house or have a nice car is because of him. So thank you, I guess, for all of that. And you're on this show, Bobby, because of your love for the game Zombicide. Is that true?
Wait, what?
You're here for Zombicide. Yeah. Or did I not tell you?
Yeah.
Originally, this was going to be a hentai episode. Because you used to have that box at the comic store that I don't even know if I was old enough to even look at.
It just said H.
It just said H on it.
People that need to know what that means.
Right. I had to wait till he went to the bathroom to get it to sneak a peek. That, like, it's supposed to be 18 or older, but this stuff was so vile, you had to be 21.
I'd say
that's
30.
how vile the stuff was. It wasn't even 18 or older.
That La Blue series is pretty rough.
I don't even know what that is. Is that a
neither do I.
Okay.
Deep dive.
The funny thing is, when Biran makes jokes like that, I don't even know what the joke is because I don't know enough to get the joke.
He's your Dennis Miller?
Yeah, he is. He changed after 9/11 big time.
Yes, yes, he did.
Yeah, the big words for no reason. Bobby has played a lot of Zombicide. I played the first game way back when. I'm a noob when it comes to it, but it's a game where I always wanted to play. Is this something, I don't know who else agrees with me here, is this one of those where we like the idea of it more than the game?
It was one of the early on, that game cost $80 games, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, meanwhile, you'll buy one model for $80.
Yeah, this was when it first came out, it was kind of a sticker shock for a board game, at least.
Yeah. Because board gamers are cheaper people as a people than miniature gamers complain about a lot of things, but they know they're dropping $1,000 on a new army. That's not, when it comes to board games, if there's miniatures in the box, people still might complain a little bit at the price, right?
I think not anymore. I think that they kind of set the trend and games have gone well beyond that at this point.
Yeah, I just saw what's that called? Wisconsin Thumb Ring. What's his called?
Oh, Guerrilla Miniature Games?
No, that's Canadian.
That's Canadian Thumb Ring. Wisconsin Thumb Ring is Tabletop Minions.
So Bobby, the guys that wear thumb rings in their videos are only known by their region and then the word thumb ring.
He was talking about the amount of money spent on various nerdery gaming, and obviously Magic was on top. Board games were like 500 million in sales in the US, and miniature games were just underneath it at like 450 million.
Like that he spent?
Yes.
Yep.
So part of that is CMON's fault.
Yeah.
Zombicide, I remember when that first came out, I went to Gen Con every year and I saw their booth and I saw the game. And after I saw the price, I specifically walked by. I said, I don't even want to look at it. I'm afraid if I like it, it's way too much to invest.
Well,
I
at
was
that
playing
time,
the zombies game.
you
Taking the
that was
helicopter
after
game.
you were done with miniature games at that point. So you're thinking, I'm going to be board game guy, and which means I can also afford to be board game guy. So of course you walked by that.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a lot of games over the years, going back to Hero Quest and old stuff in the 80s and 90s, everything. I've got it all still, most of it. But nothing got that high until CMON came along.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Zombicide was almost 100 for the not even the buy-in, but like each box. If you bought the first edition, if you bought the Rue Morgue and Angry Neighbors and all the stuff that came out with it, it was a big investment, and it was not something I was interested in, despite that's my genre that I love.
Yeah.
It was a lot to invest in, not knowing anything about it. And what's weird is I have friends who were all in on the very first Kickstarter, and I wasn't really talking to them at that time. So I wasn't aware that they had gotten all into it.
Mhm.
And then once I started showing interest, then I started finding all these people that I knew that were involved in it. And it became an obsession since.
Yeah. So, on the Kickstarter subject, there's a lot of different thoughts on Kickstarters and tabletop gaming, and good, bad. Is there the window of opportunity leaves? You pledge all this, and by the time you get it, you don't care anymore, or you and your friends don't care. There's the other side of the coin. Like when I was doing Death Path, I would get people messaging me like, "Hey, why should I back this when I can get Zombicide for this?" I'm like, go get that. Like, I'm just a guy in a room. I'm not a company, but it doesn't matter. Now, the other school of thought is there are people that are using Kickstarter to find out about new games because Cool Mini or not brought them into the pool. Like sometimes a big enough game that's going to make 3 million, like Black Plague did or whatever, like they brought normies into the Kickstarter pool. Some of those people might have backed my game. So like, should I thank them? Should I be mad at them for also giving an unrealistic expectation of, yeah, you're getting all this for $100? So like, what's your guys' take, Bobby? What's your take on a company that level that's already done Kickstarters, still using that as a business model?
They get a lot of heat from the fans, and I think it's mostly detractors, right? So the people who don't care about Zombicide are probably more prolific about their hatred of CMON. So they spend a lot of time complaining about that's not what Kickstarter's for and so on.
Yeah.
My take is if you have a tool to help business, you're not a good businessman if you're not using it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you're a $20 billion company. If you can put a product out and not spend your own money, that's how you do good business.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's how you make money. It doesn't necessarily mean that it crushes all the other companies. I don't think it translates to everyone wants to buy the CMON stuff, so nobody's buying those small indie games for $20 a pop. I think those are totally different genres and fans.
You know what it is?
It's not a lot of crossover.
They're not picking and choosing, but there is, and I've seen it several times firsthand. There is a I don't know what the phrase is, but like you're putting things at the same level that shouldn't be there. Like I'm
equivalency.
There you go. I like it's like being in a band and you're like, well, why aren't you doing it? I was the little guy and I'm asking to be treated like the little. Now there's a difference. We joke on this show a lot about Mantic, and they want to be treated. They want to be the underdog, but they also want to be treated like Games Workshop at the same time. Like, no, you got to pick a lane. Are you going to, I am the underdog. I didn't have any money to make this game. But then I had people saying things like, well, the X-Wing starter's $40. So is your game. Why should I get it? Like, go get the X-Wing starter. I don't know what to tell you. So that, I don't think it was, I didn't lose anybody, but they're in some people's mind when they're spending money, they're not us. The five of us have no problem spending money on games. That's not, so we're not the right people to be discussing, that, but there are cheap fucks that play the same games we do and that actually do compare. They walk by and they scoff at the prices of everything. even if it's $40. What was the guy the other day that we were talking about like, it was some group and it was like, oh, that Terraforming Mars Kickstarter, $40 at Target. Like, dude, if you get one game that you enjoy one night for $40, that's cheaper than going to a movie with your family for one night, or the meal you're going to shit out. Hopefully you shit it out. I don't know. But the next day, like, to scoff at the prices, but those people do exist, and they exist at our levels of gaming.
I'm a notorious scoffer. I'm very cheap about things, and I think I'm representative of a lot of gamers. I want the most for my money. If a game comes out, I'm looking, I'm researching where can I buy it the cheapest, not because I want to be cheap, but I want to be able to buy multiple games. Yeah. And if I have a set amount of money, I don't want to spend $100 on one game if I can buy 4 games at $25. So everything that comes out, I try and look at Amazon and every store everywhere and just find the cheapest version of it. So, and working at a comp store for as long as I did, that's prevalent in a lot of gaming. Role players, D&D people come in all the time. Oh, you got the new TSR book? And we'd say, yeah, here it is. They go, oh, thanks. And they'd leave because they're just going to go find it online somewhere cheaper.
Yeah.
So I don't really blame them because that's me. I mean, I do the same thing if I'm buying groceries. I buy certain groceries at Walmart, certain ones at Target, certain ones at Jewel. It's not really a waste of gas if you're spending your money wisely.
Totally fine. But you also, and correct me if I'm wrong, don't you own every single thing one could purchase for Zombicide?
Just about. I'm missing about 5 or so characters in the first Kickstarters.
Okay, so you're
only because I went back and bought everything in the secondary market, and that was brutal.
I'm talking about people who aren't going to do that. You may look for deals, but you're going to get everything.
Yeah, but I mean, because I'm buying so much, I have to look for deals. I'm not just going to buy somebody's. Nemesis is a great game. It's one of the big Kickstarters of the last couple of years. It's like an Aliens game. Yeah. The Kickstarter is like $600. Yeah. For all in, and they just did a second edition with lots of extra stuff. I can't afford that. So maybe one day I'll buy a couple of boxes and eventually have the whole thing.
Right, you get some of it. Mike, you just did a $600 Kickstarter that your wife accidentally found out about. Is that true?
Oh yeah, the Judgment.
Yeah. The game is called Judgment, but you also are LARPing Judgment as well.
Exactly, yes.
There was Judgment that you spent how much on a game you may not play, and you're going to say, I swear I'm going to play it.
Oh, I will play this game. Joshua James is into this game, so I definitely have that. So
okay, so you have that.
Yeah, and that goes to paying for how much you're paying for a game and how much you play it, because your return on investment is better the more often you play a game.
Oh yeah,
so the more invested you are in Zombicide, if you've played 100 games of it, it doesn't matter what you spend on the game. Exactly. You paid your money back.
That's been my thing, Bobby.
I bought $50 games that suck, and you get rid of it as soon as you play it the first time.
Right.
That's a terrible investment, but you don't always know.
Right, you don't know. And I think that's am I lagging a little bit?
A little bit.
Okay. That's kind of why I don't buy as many I really don't buy board games anymore, because like we were talking the other day, Bobby, about it earlier today. Sometimes finding a good group to play with is more than half the battle. That is the battle. And I've been burned so many times, it's hard to find it. I'm like, you know what? This is why I like war games and skirmish games, because I just got to find one person to roll dice with. So I will still spend a lot on that genre, knowing that I'm going to get my value out of it. Whereas I start to buy these cool mini or not games or these fantasy flight games, and they're going to end up on the fucking shelf for years, because I'm like, well, this crowd's not the right one for that game. Like, why the fuck do I have it? If I'm like so scared to show a game to certain people, why the fuck do I even own it at that point?
There's a big thing now is people don't just buy games to play them, they collect them.
I hate that. Yeah.
So it's part of that, is that FOMO, that fear of missing out. You find a cool game
for a shelfie.
One day you'll find somebody that'll like it enough to play it with you.
Because the shelfie, it's got to look good for the shelfie.
Yeah, some of that. I've never done those because my shelves look completely wrecked, but some of it's bragging rights, some of it's just, a lot of that in the gaming community. How many games you own, how many games, your shelf of shame. People love to brag, sort of.
Yeah.
Going back to
they haven't gotten around to playing.
The archetypes episode, that would be Fedora Guy.
Yeah, so we had an episode, Bobby. It's probably going to air the week before this one. We went through the 6 gaming archetypes of gamers, like what they look like, what they act like, and yeah, is that the same kind of thing? You know, you mentioned about bragging about the shame. When you see a post, got to get rid of my Warhammer armies, like the wife has spoken, like I bet you, give me her number. I'm going to call her right now because I bet you she doesn't give a fuck.
Yep.
You're using her as a way to like unload stuff for some other, maybe you got crumped in your last game, you know?
I love the people too that like give you too much information. Like, oh, my child has cancer and I need to sell this to get money. It's like,
you're not going to get enough money if you don't have insurance by selling models.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't care how many expansions you have from Cool Mini or not. It's not going to really make a difference for that surgery.
And I'll still quibble with you. Trust me.
I will quibble. Biran, have you gotten a chance to play? You got into Zombicide recently, right?
I bought the Night of the Living Dead version because Todd had it on his 40% off sale. And I actually started painting the zombies. I got 10 done, and then I'm like, what am I doing? And I stopped. And that's as far as I got.
Bobby, you're not painting, are you, Bobby?
Zombicide, but I played the 4-stripe Adidas version.
What's
called Zpocalypse.
Oh, is that like the Dollar General version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. A cross between the original, like that zombies game from Twilight Creations and Zombicide. It's somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
I do like that it has the jigsaw pieces.
I'm trying to sell mine actually.
Yeah. I do like that it has the jigsaw pieces for the scenery. But we played it once and it was okay.
Yeah, and I bought it.
You have to really like it.
Yeah, I bought it because
to set up and make the mess.
Everything I buy nowadays is, can I use this in Zombicide? So I buy miniature games that have dozens of miniatures so that I can use them as monsters or survivors in Zombicide. Yeah, and I tried that with Zpocalypse and they're not the right scale. So
well, that's weird because you have a team of guys of 2 people in that game. It's kind of strange on these like modular bases. Yeah. Component quality is so low though. It's kind of
finding good models. I mean, that's, you know, the popularity lately of games like Frostgrave and things like that, where you can kind of do what you want. I mean, that lends itself to that. Bobby, when you play Zombicide, are you generally looking for, because you play D&D with a certain group that you've played with for years. Do you port that group over to become your Zombicide group?
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as like finding a gaming group, our gaming group is really good. We've been playing everything from D&D and board games. We used to put our computers together and play a lot of online games like Aliens versus Predator or StarCraft and all those. And we would just go to someone's basement and play those all the time. But now that everyone has kids and they're all got things to do all the time, so they don't get together as often. So yeah, there is a lot of carryover. They're all interested in all that stuff. The problem is my gaming group relies on me to get everything because they don't want to buy anything. So they know I'm going to. So it's kind of passive aggressive, or it's you know, like, why should I buy anything if Bobby's just going to buy it and I'll play what he's into? They don't care as much. They'll play anything, or they just don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
It's fine either way. I'm going to buy it no matter what. So
well, that's, you know, we had an episode championing a game where it's like you always have that if I don't do something no one else will feeling. And you know, everybody that's currently on the screen right now is also that same person. I have people here in Colorado, great people to play games with, but if I don't bring it up, it's not going to go anywhere. And I honestly don't think there's anything ever purposefully, I don't know, apathetic. I just think that just in some people's nature, I'd love to play a game if you ask me. Like, I think there's a lot of that just goes on. I think
people just have a lot of stuff going on in their lives and they don't think about games first. So when everyone gets together, they're like, oh, let's go see a movie or whatever. And they're like, how about some board games? Oh yeah, I like board games.
Yeah. You have to remind them that.
Don't think about it. It's not their first thought.
Yeah. Remind them that fun exists. I can show you the way. And that's kind of what happens. You buy everything. Mike, Biran, for your group, you guys are kind of the overall, I mean, everyone has input on things, but you guys are generally playing everything, right?
Yeah, we try to.
So
Well, when we started playing the Arkham Horror game, we started splitting up the costs. Where, all right, here's the new set. I'll get this, and you get this, and you get this.
yeah, and the
We
card
pool
game.
our
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
Like hobos have to.
So in Zombicide, Bobby, when you play, are you combining everything together at this point? Because there's so many expansions.
Yeah, I mean, when we play games, when we play a game, it's basically let's pick which one we want to play. So we're playing either modern or fantasy or sci-fi with Invader, and then from there, we're using all the available figures and miniatures. It takes a long time because everyone has a lot of characters to go through and find who they want to play as.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest time sink, really, is once we know what we're playing, or maybe I don't even give everyone a choice. We're just playing this time. I have almost everything for everyone, so it's easy to get it all in one place, but it takes a while because there's hundreds of characters to play as.
Are you always like DM role?
The game doesn't really need a DM. It's basically just, here's the layout, here's the mission, this is what you have to do. You're kind of just, babysitting everybody, make sure they're staying on track. Or because I know the rules the most, I'm the one telling everyone what they can or can't do, even though it's sometimes to my benefit because we're playing a cooperative game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to cheat or, let people get away with murder just to make themselves feel good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's co-op, so you're still working together, but at a certain point there is that, especially if you're playing with people that, may not be typical gamer type people, where you might need a little pushing along, throughout.
Yeah, sometimes you got to remind people we're all on the same side. We're trying to finish the goals and remind them what the goals are so they're not running around like a bunch of stray cats looking for items the whole time.
You mentioned all those characters. What are your top 3 to 5 I'm so glad this character is in the game, whether it's because they have, I don't know how they get away with this shit with the movie ripoffs and stuff, but what are your favorites?
I don't know. I think from the first games, I liked the transporter. He was my favorite. Jason Statham's character. Yeah. Liam Neeson from the Taken movies. He's a fun one to play. I even like Gordon Ramsay's character.
Oh, I didn't know he was in there.
I'm a big fan of the homage characters. I think it's hilarious. I love when the games come out and everyone's trying to figure out who everyone is because they don't make it obvious. They can't use real names. They can't use real backgrounds. It's just a look. And even then, they've gotten in trouble. They've had to change some images. They've had to get away from some tricky situations. Kill Bill, they couldn't release the bride in the Game of Death outfit. So they made her look like the beret wearing earlier version of her character when she was on the team.
Yeah. I think I have the Black Knight.
I think Decker from Blade Runner was the same thing. They had to change him.
Do you guys play with the Monty Python characters?
I don't think anyone has. All the games of I don't think any of my friends are big Monty Python fans, even though everyone's seen the Holy Grail.
They're not those weirdos that are
I think we played maybe Bob the Magician.
Bob instead of Tim. Biran, you said those are weirdos? You mean the people that go to a gaming convention and do the ESO Domine and then hit themselves in the head and walk around?
Yes.
Those people are weird?
Yes.
Bullshit.
They're the worst.
By the way,
the reason I stopped pre-ordering any sort of fantasy role-playing games at GameStop, because you'd be outside before midnight and they would start quoting the Holy Grail, and I would just shudder.
Were you like that guy in the G.I. Joe group? Like, I got chicks to bang and on time for this?
And then the guys in the Camaro would pull up like, what are you guys waiting for? And I would shout, Madden.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's no way you're buying Madden. So, Bobby, you didn't play with them, but in those games, do you find your friends are gravitating towards characters they know, or they just want something that looks cool?
Most of the people we play with characters that they recognize from movies or TV shows. It's more fun than just generic carpenter guy.
Right.
And most of them aren't really looking at the skills to try and find the OP stuff. But we do have one or two people that pick the characters based on what skills they have, and they know they'll do well. Marksman type characters,
Yeah.
Dual wield type characters, but we started making rules where you can't play the same characters every game to stop
good.
people from playing the same 2 characters every game.
Yeah. They probably Googled who's the best to play before they came over.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get min-maxers and power gamers no matter what game you're in, but you have to mitigate.
Are you familiar with all the characters in the game?
Probably not. There's way too many.
Oh, I was thinking like it could be a fun little game to like we say a character and you have to say if they're in the game or not.
Well, I'd have a good idea if they're a famous person because I know
That's what I mean.
Yeah, if you want to do that, we could.
Okay, so let's go around. Let's quiz them one time. Ash from Evil Dead.
He's in both fantasy and modern.
Oh wow, you're gonna say what version? All right,
Well,
Mike,
if I can think of it.
give him one, Mike.
Ripley.
Oh, that was mine.
There's a sort of Ripley homage in the Invader game. It's not as obvious as the others.
Various Stallone characters.
There's definitely Benny from modern, from the Expendables. That might
There's no Rambo in the game?
Judge
No.
Dredd?
There is a Judge Dredd in Invader.
Did you say various Carl Urban characters, Biran?
I don't think there's any other Carl Urban characters. No,
There's no Billy the Butcher? Billy Butcher?
every Kickstarter, it's fun because, like I said, people are trying to guess who they're releasing because they release them as stretch goals, and people argue back and forth. This is this character, and sometimes they're really close, or sometimes they're an amalgam of 2 characters.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's more fun to say what you would like to see. Like, we want CMON to see this so we can say we definitely need this character because it's Invader. We need Ripley in the sci-fi, not in fantasy or modern.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool to feel that your feedback might actually help, you know?
Can you
Yeah, I mean-
actually play them like a sci-fi character in the fantasy one?
As
As a goof?
The rule system is basically the same. There's a good like 10 or 15 skills that are different for each system, but you can adapt it. You can
You do a
make up your
time
own.
traveling sci-fi
That's it.
guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that make their own missions and do all that, and campaigns even. And a lot of them did that when Invader came out, and with fantasy even. They wanted to do my characters in modern going back in time or vice versa. And they'll probably do the same when the cowboy one comes out, the Western version.
Xtreme, do you have one for him?
Machete.
Machete, yeah, he's definitely in. He's in modern, and they just put him out in 2nd edition. They even upgraded him because Danny Trejo's such a great guy. Everyone loves Machete. He's a survivor. He's a walker, and if you kill the walker, I think he can also turn into an abomination in the new 2nd edition. So
Do
they
you
have a
think
giant abomination of him.
Do you think he plays?
One could only hope.
In our
This is the
lore,
only character I own that's not part of the main game. Leah the teenager.
oh, they're pre-painted?
No, I bought them painted.
Like from a person?
Yeah, on eBay.
But how's it in the box?
Well, they put it back in the box after they painted it.
You mean it's not sealed? Get that
No.
out of here.
It's not nib.
No, it's not nib. Get that shit out of here.
Leah the teenager is based on the girl from Zombieland.
Oh, okay.
Emma
Emma
Stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have is Buffy in there?
I want to say yes, but I'm not really sure.
I
There's got to be a Shaun of the Dead stuff, isn't there?
There's definitely Sean and his partner.
yeah.
What was his name? Nick Frost's character.
Fat guy?
Yeah.
That's what people are gonna say when they see the movie. So Bobby, when you're playing Zombicide at this point, are you playing to play expansions and to move forward, or is it just I think this game's great. I want to get everything and share it with as much people as I can. Like, what's kind of as a player, what's your motive of playing the game?
Well, like I was saying, with having a game group is great, and having them all want to play the game is great too, but nobody plays as much as you want to play, right? I bet nobody here plays any games as often as they really want to, right? Because they can't find somebody or everyone's busy or whatever. That's the good part about Zombicide, is that you can solo it. It's a true co-op game. So if you're able to keep track, you can control all 6 characters and you can play by yourself. So I have played a lot more than the games that I've played with my friends, but when we get together, it's basically just pick a random mission from the book or find something that kind of sounds like it's going to meet the time limit, but they never do. And I keep track of who played, what characters we used, and if we won or lost.
You have a notebook?
I put a Post-it on each mission in the rule books.
Okay. Because that was
there's so many missions that, I mean, it would take forever. There are people that go through with their group and they play every mission from each game set in order just to see how it goes. And I just don't have that dedication.
Well, you do like your stats. Biran had what did you have there?
This is for our game of Arkham Horror, keeping notes on experience points, because it matters in that, because guys you don't defeat, you have to remember to put them in the next encounter deck and stuff like that.
Now, I remember some Bobby lore. In the old days, he would have a notebook of all the results from Raw, from WWF. So the results were there before there was the internet. He had all, so it's no surprise you've got all the stats.
Well, it's because I used to record every Raw, and at some point I had hundreds of videotapes with hours and hours of stuff, and I paid one of my employees to watch them and fast forward and write everything down.
Is it true you would edit out any losses from Triple H?
That I would what?
Edit out Triple H losses?
No, but I was going to say you look a lot like him now.
Thank you. I'll take it. It's kind of the like Ned Stark, the Ned Stark look that I was going for. So I'll take it. I think when it comes to this game, Biran, I know you said you wanted to give it a try. Are you looking, Biran, to like play with one person or get a whole group like Bobby's games that you generally are?
I'd play with the crew, but I know that second edition just dropped. So, and Bobby, maybe you could correct me. One of the things I remember when flipping through the rule book was if you shoot into a room that has a survivor and a zombie in it, you hit the survivor first.
Yeah, this is a huge.
Like I think I read somewhere where everyone house rules that because of them. But
that was started in the first edition in Zombicide Modern, because I believe shooting into crowds of zombies is too easy. It's too easy to back away and shoot everything. They wanted you to do more melee. So they want bigger groups to smash into the crowds of zombies and so on. So they didn't want people like those OP players to sit back and just sniper everything. So they made it a rule that you hit survivors first. There are skills in the game like sniper and some other ones that allow you to pick your targets.
So there's ways to mitigate that.
Yeah. Right. So when people house rule, the biggest house rule was when a lot of people did this even before the fantasy came out, Black Plague. Black Plague said that only misses will hit survivors. So that's still, if you're rolling 3+ to hit something and you roll a 1 or 2, you're going to hit somebody. So a lot of people use that rule in Modern, which is fine. It's a sandbox game. Do what you like. Everyone should have fun with the game. I personally can't play a game without house ruling it in some way. But I think as far as this game, I like that rule because I think of it as when you're playing Black Plague and Green Horde, you're playing seasoned combat dungeon dwelling veterans who are not scared of a bunch of zombies coming at them. They've fought way worse. So I believe they'd be a little better at taking their shots. Whereas in Modern, you're playing roller skating waitresses or carpenters, people who have never shot a gun in their life. So I kind of like the idea that they're going to panic and they're going to hit the wrong people.
So you saw it as more of like, it's not, just don't do it. It's encouraging you not to shoot as much.
Yeah,
as,
I mean, yeah, it's not there to screw you over. It's just there to stop you from winning by hanging back and shooting everything. So I think it's more thematic to keep the rule for modern, but I'm in a very small minority in this.
and I think I was watching an introduction to the new edition that came out, and they changed it to how it is in fantasy now for the new.
Yep. Invader added a rule that my friend had already house ruled. Say you're playing a game and the abomination is coming at you and you don't have anything tough enough to hit it. When he like runs a game of Green Horde, he does combined fire, where two people firing with enough shots can damage a bigger target. And then they added that rule into Invader. And when second edition came out, everyone was expecting it and it didn't happen. So a lot of people are adapting those rules anyway. But I think changing the rules slightly for each version also means that it keeps them a little different so that there's a need for you to own them all. If they were the exact same game, there'd be more of an argument from the fans to say, why do I need this? It's the exact same game with different characters. So I like that there's a little difference between each one. Like I said, you can also house rule everything. So it's all up to what your group likes.
Mike, have you gotten a chance to play before?
I've played Black Plague, but that was 3-4 years ago. So
yeah, that was the one that when I saw that Kickstarter and I saw how much money it was making, that was when that one was coming out, was when I realized this game is a big deal. Like it wasn't just your average, expensive board game we walk past. This is got a life of its own because of all the backers that have already, and that was several years ago already. So it's only, Bobby, you sent me a picture of like a tower in your house, like a Zombicide tower, like Tower of Games. Like look what I just picked up. Like, is that, I'm thinking, is that everything or is that today's?
Yeah, that was the picture I got recently. That was second edition, and it's from the floor. It's past my waist with every expansion, every edition, every extra little box they added to it.
For second edition.
Just for second edition modern, yeah.
And you already had all the stuff for the first edition.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't involved because I came late to the game. I didn't back any of the Kickstarters for modern in the original versions. I was in on Black Plague. That's when I kind of got really hooked, like you. I love watching the Kickstarter, seeing what the stretch goals were and so on. And that's kind of the fun of Kickstarter to me in general. So it's shocking to me when people get these games a year later and they're like, oh, I don't like this game. How can you not like it? You loved it. It's very weird to me. But
so
I was all in just because of that. So everything since then I've been all in on. And it took me a long time to find everything for the original modern.
I have to wonder, when you say, a year goes by, someone doesn't like it, that's because you're already a fan. Have you ever experienced the Kickstarter remorse, not Zombicide, something else, where you backed it and by the time you got it, you're like, the window is passed, the window's closed?
No, I think that hasn't ever happened to me. But it's obviously a big complaint.
Have you ever backed a Mantic Kickstarter?
No.
Well, there you go.
I liked the idea of their Martians game when I saw that at Gen Con a few years ago.
Yeah, Xtreme. That was your favorite game for like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
I still would like to pick some up because, like I said, those would be great to use in a Zombicide game.
You can have it for pretty cheap.
Some of the helmets are still on people's carpet right now.
The Martians.
Xtreme, you love that game so much for 2 weeks that you used it in Dreadball as well, right?
I did. Fully painted Dreadball team.
And what happened?
The same thing that always happened in Dreadball with me. I lost all my games.
You got that plague-infested spork, so...
Yeah. Bobby, Xtreme had a team that were all monkeys, and it was called D's Nuts.
They were the joke team, though. They were purposely bad.
Yeah, they were supposed to be bad. You weren't supposed to win with them, so that's why. So when it comes to the current state of Zombicide now, Bobby, are you excited if they do another Kickstarter? Or are you at the point now where you just want like small releases?
I don't think we're ever going to get small releases from them. They know they're going to make $4 to $5 to $6 million every game, so they're going to do it until it stops. They're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for them to stop. They're not going to scale back.
So
They're not going to say 6 million's too much. We're only going to try for 2 million this time. Let's make
right.
it.
We don't. I'll tell you what, we had it. I don't remember what episode it was when we were talking about one of the Manta Kickstarters. We had a discussion about what happens when it does when a Kickstarter does too well. When something goes too well and it makes too much money, the first thought is, well, that's crazy. Why wouldn't you want it? Like, no, because now you have to catch up. Now that hasn't happened. Cool Mini Nut's prepared for that, but imagine being a game company who's not ready. Oh, we only thought it was going to make 1 million tops and it made 3. Now you have to rush everything through production and rules and
come up with stretch goals you didn't think you'd have to do and rush.
Right, stuff you never thought you had to do. Now they're prepared for it now, a little different situation. You know?
Yeah, with CMON, I guarantee that every stretch goal is planned months ahead. They know they're going to hit a certain number and they're going to make those stretch goals match what they've already worked on.
Or
They're
it's
not
going to happen
scrambling
anyway.
at the last minute to add more. They've already been aware of everything.
You
They
wonder,
probably planned for more than what they actually do.
like, how much is in the budget to like put in a few little side pleasures to make some things happen, you know?
Mhm.
Just to kind of, you mentioned earlier the modern, you know, and fantasy style. There's a Wild West one coming out.
Yeah, that's the Quick and the Undead or something like that.
Is that out already or not out?
No, it just finished a couple of months back, so it's going to be quite a few months before it comes out. But
And you'll be excited for that.
yeah, I mean, I'm still excited. They added stuff like horses and a lot of different abominations based on the Wild West and kind of
there a
the Wild
Mongo?
West,
Is
like
there a
Dead
Mongo?
Legends.
What do you say, Biran? Mongo?
Mongo. Where you can
I
take 'em out
believe
with a
there is a
candy gram.
Mongo character in there. It's been a while since I've looked at the Kickstarter page.
It's probably one of the safer Blazing Saddles references you could do in it.
Yeah, and of course, everyone wanted Blazing Saddles. Everyone wanted a lot of, we got a lot of Tombstone characters in the game. There's a lot of obvious ones, but with Western, there's a whole lot of movies that people wanted represented, and I don't think they got everything.
They'd have to do like 10 Clint Eastwoods.
Yeah, 10 versions of the same guy.
Is there a Django?
They made a big deal. I
That
think
would
there
roll.
is. I think there is.
That would be cool.
Again, like I haven't like poured over it as much as I have the other ones. So
You're excited to play because it's a different take on the game, though.
yeah, I think all fans of Zombicide now are gotten to the point where we're like, what should be the next one that we want to get excited about? Like people are talking about pirates or feudal Japan. Like where can zombies invade that we get a lot of cool miniatures out of in a different genre? So Western was the one that everyone's been asking for a while.
Do you think the like the zombie infatuation? Because I mean, when Walking Dead was the biggest thing around, that's all you would see everywhere, and then that kind of goes away. And I know what's the one that just came out. We were talking about
Army of the Dead.
Army
Army of the Dead. Do you think there's I mean, it's weird to have a comeback, but people weren't really as into it, at least that I noticed. The zombie genre. Maybe it's back now. I don't know.
Zombies have never really gone away. They may be not as popular with a lot of people. I know that if you pool like board game fanatics, zombies is probably the lowest on their list of what they want because there are so many board games based on zombies. But if you're a zombie fan, there's not enough zombie games like me.
Well, in
So,
Zombicide, the modern one was always kind of tongue in cheek, which I liked.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah, like I said, it's more fun to me because a D&D character fighting zombies is boring. But like I said, the rollerblading waitress is hilarious because it's not what you'd expect. To me, it's also more horrifying. Like a real world zombie invasion is more horrifying than a bunch of D&D guys fighting some zombies.
Well, I think that's what I always liked about when things come out when, whether it's, Walking Dead or when like District 9 comes out, like this is how it would actually be if stuff happened. as opposed to what would make for a good movie. It's way better to have the real world implications and how.
And speaking of Army of the Dead, that movie came out, and CMON announced that they're doing a version of it for
really?
Zombicide.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a full-blown Kickstarter. It might be a smaller release, but they're definitely doing casino-type tiles and things like that, based on the different types of zombies they had in the movie. And everything.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever played it. It was first came out on Xbox 360 was Dead Rising 2. That was a casino-based zombie invasion game, and Army of the Dead pretty much ripped off a lot of it. It seemed like, and
wow, I guess me not knowing the video game, I thought it was super innovative. I guess not.
No, even to the point where there were zombie tigers.
No spoilers, Biran.
Sorry,
some people don't know.
It was in the trailer.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe there'll be a miniature of that. That'd be kind of cool.
It's definitely going to be in the game. I guarantee.
Is this the kind of game, Bobby, that we always joke on here about, like a game you get into? I know you have, but you're weird. Would other gamers pick Zombicide as a game they really get into, or will it be a side game for most?
I think it's a lighter game. There's not a lot of heavy rules. It's really easy to pick up for a lot of people. So the general populace, general board gamers might pick it up in order to play the main core sets. They're not going to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on all the Kickstarter extras in the aftermarket, but they do sell quite a bit of the core sets in all versions of it. Like, it's a light enough game. You can play it in a couple hours and then go on and play something else. A lot of people have bought it just for that.
Yeah, like we talk sometimes about, again, it's all relative. Like, you know what I mean? Like when people say, like, oh, is it a beer and pretzels game? Like dumb shit like that, like if a game's fun, I don't care if it's complicated. And if a game is easy, again, as long as it's fun. Sometimes people do have those games. Mike, you encounter it a lot when you go to Blood Bowl tournaments, right? You get through 3 or 4 games and then they're looking for something lighter or like drinking oriented kind of game. Is that, would you, Mike, put Zombicide in more of that realm?
It's definitely less mind-numbingly, it's, you don't have to think as hard. You can just play and have fun.
Yeah. I think, it's the kind of game that it's fun. Would you say, Bobby, you've gotten non-gamers to get into it?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of girlfriends of friends and sisters of other players and so on. People that have never played board games but just think it looks cool. I've had my girlfriend's brother play with us, a bunch of people that you would not expect just because we're all here and we're just going to play it. And I think they're more like, they get really into it, but I don't know if they're going to go out and buy it, but I get a lot of good reactions from it, more so than other games like Marvel Legendary or some of the other games that we've introduced in.
Well, and you
crowds.
And you as the champion of this game, as far as like, that's all you could ask for, is that, I mean, if people are enjoying it, who cares if they buy it or not? They're going to be fun to play. And we talked about earlier on the phone, like, I'll take a normie that could appreciate a game for what it is, if you open their mind to it, than the alpha gamer, I'm going to tell everyone what to do guy any day.
Yeah. And it opens up more doors to play it again next time you're around each other. So getting someone into a game doesn't mean they have to go out and buy it. They can just come over here and play with me.
Right. Biran, are you looking to play? You mentioned initially we put this episode on the back burner because you wanted to get into it. Is it going to crack the gaming group, or what's going to happen with you?
I think and Bobby, maybe you know more. I have the original Zombicide game, but I also picked up the Night of the Living Dead because I'm a big fan of that movie, and that was the one I was thinking of trying.
Yeah, we played one of those games. It was pretty fun.
Yeah,
it's a little different from the regular Zombicide. There's a lot more tactical things you have to do, like barricade the house and things like that. It was a little more difficult too, but it was a lot of fun. A little different and more, I don't know, more fun, but it might be a little easier to accept for non-gamers because it is based on a movie they've probably seen.
But I was looking at the Kickstarter for the Wild West one, and it's pretty tempting.
Yeah, they allow a lot of late pledges too.
Yeah.
So even if you miss the game and the Kickstarter, that's my only negative to Kickstarter in general, is that there are literally 8 billion people on this planet. So as much as gaming makes per year, like you were saying, John, there's still millions of people who don't play board games, or don't know what Zombicide is, despite how many Kickstarters and how many millions of dollars they've made. That's a drop in the bucket compared to like a movie or a TV show or any other entertainment that's out there. So it's weird to me that Kickstarter gets limited to whoever happened to see it during this 2-week window, and then maybe when you get the pledge manager later.
Yeah,
Well, the one thing about Zombicide I like is that you can get it afterwards in stores. They have retail presence.
Right. You can get the core boxes. You just won't get all those Kickstarter extras.
Yeah.
Which that was part of the part that bummed me out when I did get into it was, oh, not only do I get these 5 boxes, but I got to track down 50, 70 some characters that go for anywhere from $10 to $80 a piece.
That's where I go on eBay and I look for a painted version of a guy I want, and I call it a day. I got the Black Knight. We're done.
Yeah.
So regarding those Kickstarters, yeah, you're right, Bobby. It's one of those where, it's all relative. We think like, oh, it's a giant company making compared to, me making a box and assembling it in my bedroom, that's, yeah, sure. But you're right. It is nothing compared to, even on a gaming level, like a licensed Monopoly that's going to sell, because even though it's going to be fucking terrible because it's Monopoly, but it's going to sell because it's got characters in it.
Yeah. CMON might be huge, but they're not Parker Brothers.
Right.
They're never going to be that point.
Right. So I think it's kind of cool. Like whenever games come out, like Bobby, you mentioned, showing your girlfriend and her brother, like that's probably the same conversation of, do you want to play a board game? And they say, oh, like Monopoly. And then you say, no, look at this shit. And then you show them Zombicide. That's like, that's like the first puff of this joint is free. That is the gateway to a bigger world.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that are designed as gateway games. There's a lot of very popular games that you can buy at Target or Walmart or whatever, Catan and Carcassonne, all these other Ticket to Ride, all these insanely very popular games. But even, that's even the joke nowadays. You want to play some board games? Oh, you mean like Ticket to Ride? No, I have 300 other games that are way different.
Yeah, you're right. Even the hipster board games are now the joke of that conversation.
Yeah, even a game like I said, Ticket to Ride, not to pick on any game, but once you sell a whole lot of copies, now you're mainstream. And if people know of your game, even non-gamers, it kind of makes gamers not like it. Yeah, they want to do the cool thing that no one's ever heard of, hipster type thing. So
it's part of the cred. You're going all in. You've already decided I'm going to be a freaking dork. Why not take the positive side and make yourself feel cool about it?
Right.
Xtreme, what you really like combining zombies into mall madness. Is this sort of your realm as well?
I've played a good amount of times the Zombicide, and I do enjoy it. Yeah. Sure. I don't know.
You like busting this game out. You used to do it at after tournaments you'd run or gatherings at your house, and you used to get non-gamers like your family to play it too, right?
Yeah, I think Saul was the one that was always bringing it out at my tournaments. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely a game that I can see non-traditional gamers giving a chance to, as long as you don't scare them with your 6-foot stack of Zombicide boxes. I think you have a chance.
Is that scary or is that cool?
For non-gamers, it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
You could tell them right off the bat, you don't have to buy anything though. Is it scary because they know you're a fanatic when you see a 6-foot tall stack and they're like, I'm not ready for this? Like, yeah, Bobby, are you hiding? Like, if you meet somebody new, say like a girlfriend of a friend, and are you careful how much you show? Like, I don't want them to see the real shit.
Yeah, most of the time we're playing in my dining room and the basement is full of games, so no one goes down there. I don't want to scare them. So I'll bring up a handful of games. What do you think? What interests everybody as a group? So it'll be a wide variety of different board games. And if I do bring up, again, like Zombicide, you can just play the core set and just the simple game of moving, shooting, fighting, searching, opening doors. I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by the end of the game, you're killing 10 zombies with each gunshot. Every roll of your 12 dice or whatever you're rolling. So it builds and escalates, and that's what makes people like it.
Yeah. You got to watch what you show. Like, I remember when I met you, I thought your basement was your room. And then one day you're like, no, this is my actual room. And it was all action figures and comics. And I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't even ready to see that. Like that. I thought I saw everything.
Do not have this conversation with my girlfriend.
Tell her not to watch this episode.
That was a huge culture shock after we were together for, I don't know how long.
Because there's no way you showed her everything. You didn't show her everything right away.
No, I mean, but to be honest, she didn't show me everything of her either. So everyone's got their skeletons and their craziness. And
so are you comparing X-Men figures to female genitalia right now?
No, I'm maybe drama or ex-boyfriends or whatever else it might be that triggers your girlfriend or whatever.
You had X-Men and she had ex-boyfriends.
Yeah, sorry.
I like that. That's good. Nice. So when will this Bobby, who are you playing with now? Is it the same crew, or is it taking like a little bit of because I know you're still doing D&D. Are you actively playing Zombicide now?
Not, I think we played one game, just a handful of games since second edition's come out. It's not the same group. It's parts of that same group. A lot of that group we haven't met really because of COVID, obviously, but now that we can play, we've been playing D&D pretty regularly because we can use Roll20 and Discord and everything, but Zombicide can be done that way, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
I can't do any of that online. I can't, none of it. Like even, I mean, I know you mentioned, with the Roll20, people have asked me, they watch the show and say, oh, you want to play this online? Like I've made the decision to play games that involve paper components to not look at a computer screen. And I know that's going to make me a dinosaur one day because you can't get rule books for games anymore. There's an app for every game, and I get all that. But like at its core, like I don't want to look at a screen.
Yeah, I think part of it is an app that's helpful to the game is great. Like Mansions of Madness is great.
Yeah. Because
the app is very thematic and very creepy.
Is that an app to be like a games master so you can play co-op?
Yeah.
Yep. It introduces the things to you. It tells you what tiles to put down and so on. The only problem with that is that when you own all of the content, it takes a while to get everything as you're playing the game. Like here, put down kitchen tile 4, and you have to go through a stack of tiles, 2 feet tall to find the kitchen number 4 tile.
Yeah,
but the apps do help, but there's a lot of people who will not play that game because of apps. Everyone thinks, oh, what happens in 5 years from now when that app is dead and I can never play this board game again?
Yeah. Well, you can do this thing called talk to your friends.
Yeah, and as far as like games, I think of it the same way as comics. Like as much as I've bought comics over the years, there's something, and a lot of people are like this with novels and Kindles. They like to hold it in their hand versus a screen. And games are like that too. It's much more fun to sit around a table with your friends rather than a screen.
Yeah.
But it also, to me, I see it as, well, if you can't do this, then that's second best.
Totally. Yeah. If something's actually, like the weird, past year and a half or so. Yeah, I totally get it. It's just more of a preference thing.
And people have done it for Zombicide. They made a Roll20 version of it, and I've got all the files and everything. I just haven't tried it yet to see if it's any.
Is there a lot of setup that you try to get done before people start gathering to play?
Generally, but I think our group is at the point now where we start a game, everyone's chipping in, everyone knows what to do and who's in charge of what. with the zombies, it's funny because we might have 6 or 4 to 6 people playing, and there's a lot of zombies. There's toxic, there's berserker zombies, there's runners and fatties and walkers, there's abominations. So we just assign people, you're in charge of these. So every time they spawn, you're the one who has to put them out.
Yeah.
So that speeds up the game a little bit, speeds up setup. 1 or 2 of my friends are always helping me with the map and putting all the little chits on with the doors and treasure and so on. So
yeah, that's good. That definitely helps. I think the setup in a lot of these games, we talked about it in, I think, our Curse City, the new Warhammer Quest episode, where it was like, you know, and Space Hulk, these games that like you almost want to have things like in baggies ready to go anyway, just to help out all that.
yeah. And I mean, with Zombicide, you could do that. You could just pick a mission, and when your friends come over, you can have the table all ready to go. They just have to pick their character and find the miniature. But I generally don't do that because I never know how many people are going to show up or what mission we're going to play. And if it changes, it's a lot of tear down and rebuild.
Plus, you want to put them to work. It's like, you know, when your dad tells you got to get a job, you know, it's you want to put them to work and make them a little invested in things.
Yeah. If I'm going to let you have fun, you should chip in and help with the hard stuff too.
Yeah. Fun is not free. Freedom isn't free and fun isn't free, kids. You got to work for that. Bobby, how much of your collection is painted?
Probably about 1% or less.
Oh, wow. I thought it'd be less.
Yeah, it's way less. I think the older I get, the less likely I am to paint things.
Yeah.
Because of vision and how small every detail is and so on, and how big my hands feel. Like I remember when we were playing 40K all the time, I had no problem painting, holding them, modifying the figures, you know, cutting them up, making them different poses. Now it's like, why are they so small? But they're actually bigger models. I just feel like
you got real swole over the years. Is that what's going on?
Everything's shrinking down. Yeah, my fingers can get bigger. I don't know how that's possible. But
well, I mean, you go from different types of sausage. You know, there's different cuts or links, if you will, sausage fingers. Biran, I know you want to get going on your game. What are you going to get yours painted, or are you just going to play it like a board game and put the stuff out there?
I have about 10 of the zombies painted for the Night of the Living Dead. I think that's where I'll stop.
Are you using contrast paints?
Yeah, totally.
I've seen a lot of really cool techniques where people paint massive amounts of zombies. They just do like 2-color scheme. Like if you're painting berserkers who start out as a reddish brown so that you can differentiate them when they're not painted. Yeah. They kind of use that same paint scheme by painting them different shades of that color and using black and white and gray and just making them very two-tonal so that it's speed painting. Yeah. And Night of the Living Dead lends itself really well to that because it was a black and white movie. So I've seen a lot of amazing paint jobs to just black, white, and gray looking characters, and zombies especially, where you can just crank them out.
That's a good idea, doing the speed painting style with that one for sure.
Well, and it's not like these aren't GW miniatures in detail or anything like that. So
I think for plastic injection molding, it's insanely different, you know, detailed, but yeah, they're not the same as assembling an arm and a shoulder pad and everything else.
And I think the Night of the Living Dead are even more have less detail because they're modeled after the zombies from the movie, which, you know, a lot of people in nightgowns.
You want nightgowns?
Yeah,
nice. You gotta paint that then.
Mm-hmm.
Contrast. Xtreme, what I know you like busting this game out. Have you followed it at all or not, or you kind of haven't really kept up with different versions?
I was really tempted with the Old West one that was out, but I didn't get that. Right now I just have the prison set, and I think I'm content just having that box.
Is that enough to play by itself, or is that an add-on?
No, it's a standalone game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the early seasons of the modern version, and there's quite a few missions in there, and you can always find more content online. People design their own, and CMON is on their website. They have literally a couple hundred missions that they tell you based on which sets you have, which ones you can play.
Okay. So as we're kind of wrapping this one up, Bobby, give me your like 3 top pros and three cons, if you have 3 cons about this game.
Second edition is really great to get into now because they streamlined a lot of stuff. So there's not as much setup as there was in the old versions. So hopefully if they do any other future Kickstarters, they're going to adapt that too. The pros, you get a lot of figures for a good amount of price. You're getting a couple hundred zombies and survivors for just a $50, $70 investment.
Yeah.
It's just based on their mass production and so on. It's a fun game. It's light. Anyone can play it. It's like I said, it's basically just move and shoot, move and fight, search for items, get tougher. And the more you kill, the more zombies come at you. So it stockpiles them on you. As you get tougher, the zombies get tougher. So it scales. You're not just wiping out everything and being bored.
Right. Yeah. I like that.
It gets a little ridiculous at point, but that's a lot of people don't like rolling moves or rolling dice and mitigation. So if you're not into you need a certain roll to kill something or you die, then this probably isn't the game for you. But I've never had a problem with it.
How would they rather it be?
I don't know. There's a lot of, board games have changed a lot in the last 10 years where there's a lot of things you can do with cards and dice and powers in the game that mitigate rolls and so on, so that it doesn't seem so random to people. Big Ameritrash type mentality that we've always had, the roll and move, roll and fight type thing. And
see, I think Euro trash and Americool is what I think.
Yep, I agree.
I want dudes on a map and dice, fucking buckets of dice, and buckets of maps and buckets of dudes.
I want my dudes to look like dudes and not like little wood squares.
I want my dudes to have buckets with dudes inside the buckets.
Yep.
I don't want cardboard things. I need 6 to 13 sided items to throw. I need that.
Yeah, that's your wargaming background, right? So you want to have lots of miniatures to paint and
for someone to paint. Someone. Yeah, I'm not doing that, but someone to paint. Yeah. Here's the thing. I do enjoy a good board game, but it's almost like when there's miniatures in a board game, like a Cool Mini or Not kind of game, it now becomes a miniatures game to me. I know it's not supposed to be though, so I get why people, but I get into normal miniature game mode of where's my guy? What can I do? What do I need? And roll. You just get into that mentality, even though at its core, it's probably more board game than miniature game.
Yeah. A lot of games have used standees and it makes the game cheaper, but it also makes it very, I don't know, innocent looking, like childlike to play, like shoot some ladders or something.
Like if you're playing Dead of Winter or something.
Right.
And,
what am I?
What
am I, hobo?
Yeah. Well, clearly it's a comedic setting, Dead of Winter, where it's a fun time. What's going on? So let's have some cartoony cutouts.
Yeah, you can play a dog.
You have to role play as the dog, though. That's the difference. You only can hump legs and sniff butts. You say, what do I need?
Yeah.
What do I need?
3+.
Yeah, actually, a butt sniff's a 1+. It always works. So any cons about it besides, if I had to guess based on what you're saying, the keeping up, but that's voluntarily if you choose to keep up with stuff, and finding a good group. Anything I'm missing?
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of negatives. If I can't find anyone to play, I can play by myself because it's a solo game. It's a co-op game, and any game that's full co-op is also soloable. Yeah. So that's a good selling point to anybody who just can't. Some people, don't get along with other people. Some people have issues where they don't want to be around other people. So solo is a great mode for any game. If
Xtreme, anything on that topic?
No, other people don't want to be around Xtreme. Xtreme wants to be around other people.
I think you're wrong. I think people really want to play games with him. To the point where, like Bobby, it's crazy. People will ask, indirectly, like, if can Xtreme come and play? Like, they're going to ask, like, does he like me yes, no, or maybe. You know, hey, Alex, does your dad want to come over and play? It's like, ask the dad.
Do you think Brian's aloof or something, or too cool to approach? Like, you were intimidated when you first met him, weren't you?
I met Xtreme as the guy who had the word extreme on his jersey. And I said, either he's a fan of the LA Xtreme or his name is Xtreme, you know, Warrior is Ultimate Warrior. It happens. He might be, you know, Brian Xtreme. You know, I wasn't sure. So it was a little off-putting. I don't know if that's the same way anymore. Xtreme, what's your take on this?
I don't know. I don't see the appeal of playing games with me, so I'm on my own.
When you get a couple of drinks in Xtreme, he is a really good games master and master of ceremonies. Like Xtreme, when we played Secret Hitler, you went in full game show host mode. That's not normally what you would do, but in that moment, for that like hour and a half, you made sure everyone had a gay old time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do that. I don't know how to respond.
After a couple of pops, you do that.
Is it because he's so passionate about that particular person?
About Hitler?
Yeah.
Or secrets?
Hitler.
Oh, maybe. It's also that's a game, Bobby. We had an episode where Xtreme has different games that he busts out for different people and also in different states of mind. And that one may have just fit at that moment, you know, like if you're on heroin, play this game or something.
That's how I have all my games
It's a
labeled.
cool game. I've always wanted to play it.
Yeah, me too. I'm, you know, some guys I know LARPed it. Some of Dean's friends, they LARPed it. So, all right. Any other questions for Bobby, who is the resident expert of Zombicide here?
Is the Wild West Kickstarter? It's over, right?
Yeah, but you can still pledge it, late pledge it.
I think they'll have the late pledge manager out for a while.
It is up right now. I checked.
All right.
Yeah.
And it looks like you get the same stuff.
Yep.
I
don't
$100
always
pledge, a $140, and a $240, I think.
I don't always pledge a big amount right off the bat either. I just put in enough to like get the game, and then when they add more stuff to add in, I buy it all in the pledge manager later.
It makes you.
I'm not contributing to the success of the Kickstarter, but overall they're making their money off me. So
They make more money if you do it that way, actually.
Well, there's that.
And
There's
you don't have to pay Kickstarter. I think something.
let's not forget number of backers is still helpful for investors and things like that too. So you're still contributing. Also, it makes it easier because the money you spent, Bobby, on the base game, that's done. That's over. Like
That's free at that point.
Right. So if you buy like 3 add-ons for $100, like I only spent $100.
Right.
It's 2 separate purchases on the credit card, as opposed to a $600 purchase. Like,
yeah, Mike was
judgment.
Yeah, you got outed big time.
Did you have to put your foot down as the man of the house? How did that go?
That was I had to say, oh, I'm getting extra money for teaching summer school. So
did you go, I'm not going to WrestleMania?
I'm not going to Gen Con.
Yeah, there you go. That helps. Or are you allowed to say it was your stimmy that bought it?
No.
It's not me. I have to spend it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to put it back
for the economy.
Right, put it back in circulation.
Some Australians and a Canadian company. So yeah.
That doesn't really help then.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we covered a lot. Bobby, appreciate you coming on. We're gonna do some ratings. We have Zlurpees that it's a refreshing drink. Is it addictive to children? Yes. When you serve them a Zlurpee, it fucks with the brain. It makes them crave more. That's okay.
I can't stop drinking it.
Right. Can't stop drinking. It's okay. Makes them feel good. You know, the guy who created the Zlurpee Xtreme down there, he doesn't like Slurpees, but he's also immune to brain freezes. That was proven on a stage once. He chugged a 44-ounce double gulp size Slurpee and was like, what? They're like, mic drop, but he dropped the cup, you know? And so that's the rating system. There's 5 you can give. 0 and half isn't a rating. So it's 1 to 5. halves are allowed, and then we'll do a cumulative score. Bobby, you're part of this cumulative score, but also not part of it. There's going to be a spreadsheet that Xtreme is the keeper of the lists, and like your name's added on a column, but then it's going to like have like these games, and you're going to be like a little like, you know, like a little growth, like a
Eye
little,
patch?
yeah, a little eye patch, kind of like, you know, on a map, Washington, D.C. on Maryland is like a little like cutout. That's you. So there's a cumulative score with the 5. Then there's the real, cumulative score that yours will be exiled at. Because also you're being brought in as a subject matter expert. Your score isn't really going to be the same. You're not going to give this game a fucking 2. You know what I mean? You love it. That's why you're here, because you love it.
You don't even have to ask me what my score is. Just tell me that I'm going to have a 5.
Exactly. You know, you're going to give the game a 5. Now, at a job, you'd say, I guess this employee can't do any better. He's never going to get a bump, as they say. He's never going to get his little 2% bump. But sometimes a 5 is a 5. Sometimes it just is, you know? So let's begin with Bobby. Then let's go to Xtreme next. Biran, Mike, then me in order of how much we've played. So Bobby, how many Zlurpees will you give as a whole Zombicide?
I mean, I have to say 5, right? So it would be 5.
Okay. I don't think you'd be here if it wasn't a 5.
Right.
Like why bother? You'd be like, I don't have time for your dumb show. I'm the guy that gives it a 4. You don't want me. Go find a 5er. Well, we found it.
You did.
All right, Xtreme, over to you. Your combination of this game with Malt Madness, it tells me you're a fan, but you also haven't really kept up. So let's find out. What's your score here?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
I think one of the like unsung heroes of this game is the sound mechanics. Like you create noise and the zombies will go towards that. That alone makes it a very immersive game. Like, I don't know. I think it's really awesome.
Okay.
That's definitely a game that I'm going to play again and have had fun with in the past.
Would you play with your son? This is a game you can bond over.
Maybe. I don't know.
Does he say, Dad, I've got girls to bang at college. I don't have time for this?
No, he wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Guys to bang then.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think, you know what, Biran? I don't think he'd say that either. I don't think he would.
He wouldn't say that.
Although he might say just to piss you off, Xtreme, because for some reason that would.
Why would that piss you off, Xtreme?
I don't know why. I don't know why it would piss you off.
But it wouldn't at all.
He says, I also want to buy rollerblades, Dad. Hope you're okay with that.
Wow. Okay.
All right, great score. Over to Biran.
I think Mike's got more experience, which is to say he has some.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I have
Mike,
buying experience, not playing experience.
Are you gonna rate your purchases then, and not the game?
No, I'll rate them both.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Mike.
All right, I'll give it a 3.5. Like I said, I've enjoyed playing it. I would play it again, but I haven't played it in probably 4 years, so that kind of lowers it just a little bit. But I'll be honest with you, I had no idea the amount of expansions and characters and whatnot were available, and that's a little intriguing. So if I ever do play it again, that will probably go up. But
quick question for Bobby on Mike's note there. Is there a Mick Foley character in the game?
No, unfortunately.
are there any wrestler-based
Well,
ones?
I was thinking there's three.
No, but yeah,
models.
the newest second edition has a rock character.
Okay.
That would make
Uh,
sense.
But HeroClix put out those wrestling figures.
Yeah,
Hero
yeah.
Click. So everybody's making cards and characters for them anyway. So
Or you can
I'll
just
eventually
use,
do that as well.
yeah, use similar stats. I was thinking if there was a Foley, you'd get 3 characters in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dude Love would be OP, obviously.
Obviously.
All right, Mike. So 3.5, good score. Is a game you think you might get back into, or you think it might still be a back burner game for you?
It's still probably going to be a back burner. The one thing it's got going for it is Katie loves zombies.
Okay.
So, and I like fantasy skins, so that's why I have Black Plague.
Okay,
But
yeah. That's
I
looks
can
like
see it.
that's the one that appealed to me most. Oh, real quick, Bobby, you were in a Blood Bowl league with Katie, his wife. Fun fact.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In Dean's basement. You had a team, Bobby, where you couldn't pronounce the name. They were called like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, Chaos
And she
Warriors.
had the gorgeous ladies of Blood Bowl. So,
Also a game that I almost never won. Hence
well,
why I didn't play very often.
guess what? Winning doesn't amount to fun in that game either.
No.
Yeah, for the most part.
I don't play it anymore. Oh, I also didn't win either. Good point.
Oh, some of the most miserable games I've had are when I'm totally just destroying somebody.
Yeah, but
And
Mike
you're
plays.
apologizing for everything, and you're
But
like,
Mike, you play halflings, so you're supposed to lose. Then when you win, it's hilarious. It's a whole thing.
I know, yeah.
Just play Skaven and throw the rats around like your brother used to, John.
Yeah, that was back when it was legal. I don't think you could do that anymore.
Nope.
He used to win all the time.
Yeah, that's when he used to win. He used to throw gutter runners. Now they're like, no, you can't throw a good. You can only throw garbage. You can't throw
Yeah,
anyone.
you can't throw something with movement 10. Yeah.
You can throw
Yeah.
snellings. Well, now I'm out.
Right.
All right, good score. Biran, over to you.
I'm gonna go 3.5 as well. Mainly on I really want to try the Night of the Living Dead one, and second edition is intriguing, and I am very curious about the Wild West one. So
Okay.
3.5 could go up.
Second edition.
What's that?
Are you going to buy the second edition?
Eventually.
At Grognard Games.
Yes, Grognard Games does have it in stock.
They do.
Bobby, they're not a sponsor, so you don't have to be nice to them on the show.
Oh,
They're
we're
not
not
a
nice to
Also,
Todd.
his wrestler figures cheap, so it's good to know.
He asked if he could sponsor us, and I said, "What's the catch?" He said, "You can't talk about cum." I said, "No, we're out."
No.
What if we
Deal
talk about
breaker.
cum in the context of at Grognard Games? Like
What
I
now?
came
Is
at
it
Grognard Games.
modern cum or medieval cum?
Because it's different humors back then, you know?
Yeah, the Cowper
Your black
wasn't as
humor,
active
your yellow
back then 'cause of
humors.
Yeah.
nutrition.
Did they have Mike as the scientist? Did they have Cowper's fluid in medieval times?
Oh, yes,
It just wasn't as much because the nutrient level was so low.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, see, I knew you got the answer.
And it tasted
Yeah,
really
there's no
bad.
there was no Peter North in the Black Plague era.
I want the
There's
Walking Dead Taboo edition.
All right, over to me. I'm going to give it a 3, not a 3.5. I really would love to give this game a 3.5, but I need to find the right people to play with, and that's a con to me in this kind of game. You know, if you don't have a good gaming group to play these kind of games, I mean, to me, this seems like if you've played dungeon crawl games with cool people, that's the group to port over. Not war gamers, and sometimes not, you know, role players. Some that could work, but I think like a good dungeon crawl group, and unless you have that, you're going to play solo. Or Bobby, could you play? Would it be fun if you were one person doing zombies, the other person doing all the characters? Or is that not-
No, they introduced player versus player stuff in one of the early editions,
Mhm.
but not many people use it.
Okay.
It's hard enough to fight the zombies, not have to shoot at each survivor on other people's teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, theoretically, someone could just DM and play the zombies, but I don't know. It's a pretty easy game to win if you have the right players. So
Yeah.
that
And
guy would
also,
always lose.
and you came here to kill as well. You know, chew bubble gum, kick ass, and set up a lot of tiles. Those
And
are
I'm
the things.
all out of ass.
I'm all out of ass, and I'm ready to set up some fucking tiles. So I'll definitely stick with my 3. I'd love to see it increase one day. And here's the thing, Bobby. In this show, we reevaluate. We do a list, a rating of the ratings. And so come episode 100, we'll look back and things may change. If, you know, all of a sudden some night at Grognard, Bobby, Mike, and Biran played Zombicide together, just it happens as a play dates, the ratings might increase or they might decrease. That could happen too. If somebody is just miserable, that could happen. Just saying. I don't want it to happen, but it
Are you
could.
setting up play dates, by the way?
I mean, if the shoe fits.
So final review score with guest score is a 3.8 and the official score is a 3.5.
Okay. Great. That 3.5 of overall cumulative is
It's
a good
virtually
score.
the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it on the screen right now, Biran? I don't
Yes,
see it.
it's right here.
Is it like right above me, below me?
More to your left. Yes.
Is this
Yep.
one of the first times that Xtreme score has been the highest?
Yes.
Oh.
Rivet
Yeah.
Wars was my.
Yeah,
was-
usually he has,
Yeah, Rivet Wars maybe. Yeah.
he has the curmudgeon scores, which are like,
And
you know,
Space Hulk.
Space
oh,
Hulk,
Space-
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Space. Yeah, by the way, Xtreme gave Space Hulk a 5. That's crazy. I gave a 5 to Underworld. So we're only 2 of us, and Bobby now, I mean, you know, on the guest side has given a 5. Biran and Mike still haven't blown their 5 wad yet.
Mike
Yeah.
should have done it to Kings of War, but
I
didn't.
should have.
Yeah. But it has Mantic Stink though. So how could it be a
Yeah.
5?
Now, Brian, if would whatchamacallit, Space Hulk, would that have been a 6, a Schomburg 6 then?
A 6 in Schaumburg?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the conversion rate. That would
It's usually
Yes,
one
sir.
full Zlurpee if you're in Schomburg.
maybe then.
We'd have
No.
to break.
What?
I'd give me Dave Metzler breaking the scale.
Yeah, would this be like, what would the Wrestler Observer give Space Hulk? Extreme.
I mean, in Schaumburg, it sounds like it would be a 6-star.
Yeah, I think so. So,
We-
all right,
we-
very-
And Bobby, we say the Schomburg score for Extreme because if he was in Schomburg, he'd have us to play with.
yeah, Extreme lives in Indianapolis, not in the greater Schaumburg region, if you will. I'm not even a fan of Schaumburg. I think
I'm
it's
not either.
overrated as fuck. You're gonna
No,
tell
I
me
think it's underrated, but
you're gonna tell me you got Higgins in golf and you can't keep them fucking parallel?
they got a crisscross. Like the drawer got lazy and just went, eh.
Yeah, exactly. You got a fucking blind guy drawing out the roads? Come on. Stay in the lines. Whoever did that, you know, Thomas Schomburg and whatever, 1912, do it right.
Founder.
The godfather of Schomburg, probably. The Schaumfather, if you will. Awesome. Well, Bobby, thanks for coming on. We'd love to have you on for other games that we
Sure.
need your realm of expertise. Just curious, what would be like your other top games you'd love to go on a show and talk about?
I don't know. There's a lot of board games, Champions of Midgard.
We do a
Let's
quick
see.
hits for some of the stuff.
Yeah, we have a version called Quick Hits where it's like maybe 15 minutes on each game, you know?
Yeah, I mean, of course, King of Tokyo. There's a lot of goofy games that we like.
That's
we
a big,
play a lot.
that's an
Extreme is a big
favorite.
fan of King of Tokyo.
Yeah, King of
Yeah,
Tokyo
good
is a big time
North
fan.
Waterdeep. What's the North Sea? What's the
Is that
Vikings in the North
it's called
Sea?
Fistful of Seamen? I believe that's the one.
Yar.
Yar, yeah. Yeah, I'm also into Parcheesi as well. That's been one of mine. The last version's kind of fucked up though, but whatever. They had to nerf it. Cool.
I
Well,
had a lot of fun. It was a lot less sad and weird as you made me think it was going to be.
less sad.
Yeah,
I don't
the
think.
impression you gave me.
I told you we were going to give you a hard-hitting question. Really put you in the hot seat, so to speak. And there was no seat and there was no hot.
No,
Just didn't happen.
well, because there's no stand-up behind me.
Yeah, that's right. She has a Skinner shirt on. She's fucking pandering again. Well, we should also I'd like to do another wrestling episode and have you on for that one as well, Bobby.
Oh, that'd be good.
We've done a lot of like non-game, just weird episodes too. So
I look
cool.
forward to the wrestling episode.
Well, you're not going to be on that one, so don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, we need a guy with the Zoom account. So yeah, could you like sign on and then
Yeah.
go dark?
What I'll do is I'll sign on. I'll be in the background, but I'll put a picture over my box.
Yeah, that'd be
Because I
good.
still need to do timestamps and stuff. So when I edit it,
Were you showing off the CM Punk shirt?
Yeah, I finally got it in.
That's a pro wrestling t-shirt, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good
I
one.
had one of the crates or something. I don't know. I bought it on eBay.
It's nice. Mike, no wrestling shirt today.
Nah, just Adepticon
Adepticon. Well,
with a hole in it.
there's a lot of people at Adepticon that look like failed wrestlers.
Or old wrestlers.
Also, just like failures in general.
Yeah,
At things in life.
they don't just look like failures.
What do you mean, Biran?
They are failures.
Yeah.
Adepticon taking hits out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, hey,
My
run a
favorite con.
show. Run a show. Run a fucking show. We want to talk about it. How about that?
It's
Do
my
your
favorite
job.
con.
Your favorite con doesn't exist anymore, Biran.
It's going to be there next year. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll get some Devil's Run again, Demolition Derby. Bobby, we'll get you into that. Head-on
Sure.
collisions. That's what it's all about.
Got to rack up my medals by playing cheesy and Devil's Run. It's the only chance I have to win something.
The real rule book's never out. The only rule book is my 3-page Google Doc. So that's all.
And we get the people that don't know us to make bad decisions by chanting "head on" every time they play.
Yeah. There was a guy that looks like a Fred Armisen Portlandia character that didn't know what the fuck he signed up for.
He signed up for Car Wars and the guy never showed
He
up.
signed up for Car Wars.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sorry, the Eugene Levy lookalike contest is down the road. And he said, I'm playing anyway.
And he goes, "I'm going to put a bird on it."
He said, put a bird on it. Cool. Well, follow Zlurpcast. This is the end of the show. If you made it this far, you can now come if you like. It's over. Add Zlurpcast. There's a Facebook group called Zlurpcast Discussion. There is something you can join in the comments called Zlurp Nation. You get bonus videos, bonus content, all kinds of things in there. Do we take your info and sell it? The answer is yeah. Okay. You're going to be on a list to get like expired Hobby Lobby coupons sent to you.
And
once a
reverse mortgages.
and reverse mortgages as well. You know, get yourself in one of those, put yourself in a better place financially, and just, be underwater, as they say. Tune in next time where we have a non-game episode. I don't know what it's about, but it will be about a topic. That's all I know so far. So until then, fingers crossed. Bye, everyone.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by McMurdy's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loathing it.